Om Swastiastu. Good morning, everyone. I am happy and grateful for everyone who has shown up to see me presenting my topic today. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Pande Putu Adhika Pratama Wijaksa. My name is 2205511012, and I am here to present my research. This presentation is about civil engineering students as agent of change, overcome climate change in facing the SDGs towards Golden Indonesia. Let me get to the discussion. So, what is Sustainable Development Goals or SDGs? SDGs is an acronym for Sustainable Development Goals, which contains sustainable development goals that must involve the community to achieve these goals. SDGs have been agreed upon by 193 member countries with 17 goals with 169 targets and 240 indicators. These goals can be divided into three pillars, namely human development, social-economic development, environmental development. Therefore, the goals of the SDGs must be implemented properly in order to reduce the problem faced by the country. In carrying out these goals, every citizen must actively participate in carrying out all these goals, especially students. Okay, I'd like to move on to another part of the presentation. So, what is the connection between civil engineering student and the SDGs? Civil engineering student as the younger generation determine the life of the country and then strive for the progress of the country and become leaders of Indonesia. One of the goals of the SDGs is to achieve quality education. Quality education also enables us to build a productive and competitive Indonesian society that is able to compete at the international level. The SDGs program has set goals to improve the quality of education. One is to ensure that all students have the necessary knowledge and skill. A civil engineering student will have good leadership qualities, an independent personality, high discipline, and precise calculation. A civil engineering student will be formed through lectures with a tight schedule, structured practicum, quite a lot of assignment and practice in the field. So every decision will be very decisive in every situation. Students themselves have three roles, namely agent of change, social control, and iron stock. In their role as an iron stock, students need to implement their role in the goals of the SDGs, especially in the field of the environment. In Indonesia itself, there is still a lack of awareness in the pillars of environmental development regarding climate change. This is where the role of students needs to be implemented, namely agent of change. Students as agent of change are students as agent of change. This is where students must be aware of being a cog for change for the Indonesian states. There are so many problems in Indonesia that need to be fixed and repaired, namely by changing. Changing here requires a driving force, namely students. Students must be aware and sensitive to the environment in Indonesia. In addition, students as agent of change must find creative and innovative ideas, which of course play an important role in the realization of these SDGs. Why? This is because sustainable development certainly requires critical thinking that can connect one thing to another. Now, I'd like to look at tackle climate change. So, there are many opportunities for a civil engineering students to become civil engineers so they can contribute to realizing the SDGs. One of them is infrastructure development by considering the impact on the surrounding environment. The development considerations are both before use, during use, and after use. Usually, these considerations and aim at building construction processes that can be carried out using energy that is more efficient, environmentally friendly, and produces minimal waste. In addition, the amount of water used in the construction process is usually kept to a minimum. By seeking efficiency and environmental friendly lines, it can be concluded that the civil engineering field can help the world community in achieving SDGs points, especially the 13 SDGs goal on climate action. Climate action is the goal of the 13 SDGs that needs to be emphasized. The goals of the 13 SDGs relates to how humans on Earth must move quickly to tackle climate change. Because climate change itself is the increasing temperature in the world caused by the emission of greenhouse gases produced by human activities. These gases include methane, carbon dioxide, nitrous oxide, and others. Of all the types of gases, the gas that really contributes to climate change in the world is carbon dioxide gas. One of the human activities directly or indirectly emits this gas, namely building construction activities. The data related to the segmentation of greenhouse gas emission states that our construction projects in the world contribute at least 40% to greenhouse gas emissions. So, therefore, students as agents of change must show concrete action such as carrying out simple measures to overcome climate change. By observing the state of the environment around them. For example, observing the state of the environment that is less clean or poorly maintained public facilities. After observing the condition of the surrounding environment, students can move to improve them safely and happily in order to achieve a comfortable environment and facilities which are still included in the goals of the SDGs program. The second is to foster a sense of empathy, foster a sense of concern for the people in the immediate environment, and try to find solutions to problems that occur in that environment. So from that, students can also advance in Indonesia, and the SDGs goals can be realized if all students play a role in this. Given the number of students is not small, the third is in welcoming the SDGs, namely by carrying out social activities related to the challenges of facing world climate change. For example, spreading of teaching the knowledge gained to children, especially in remote areas where education is still low and there are many other community activities that students can do in welcoming the SDGs. Peace of a country is one of the goals of the SDGs programs. Therefore, as a student, of course, we must maintain peace and prevent division from happening to our groups due to untrue news and hoaxes. A student certainly must be able to reduce and provide awareness of how to respond to hoax alias fake news, which can cause a feeling of non-peace and discomfort and can even cause division between people in a country. So next, tackle climate change. The first role is social control. Students must take part in social activities and change the environment for the better. Students must be more sensitive to see, hear, and feel what is in the environment. Students must have a social conscience and move to contribute. So, the second role is iron stock. Students as an iron stock means students as a substitute for generation before, of course, with the abilities, skill, and noble character inherent in him. And so, the third role is agent of change. A driving force for change towards a more just life order, students as agent of change are expected to be able to make real change for the Indonesian nation towards a more peaceful life. And finally, the fourth role is climate action. In the context of global climate change, evolution and improvement of social resilience of society necessary to avoid or reduce the potential impact of climate change on availability of natural resources, economy, housing, and individual welfare and public. So this leads me to the next point. Students have a role in climate action. The first step is observing the state of the environment around. The second step is growing empathy, growing caring, and finding solutions. And the third step is carrying out social activities. And finally, the fourth step is peace in the country is one of the objectives of the SDGs program. Therefore, students also play a role in maintaining peace. So, then I will explain about the role of civil engineering. So, will civil engineering students be prospective civil engineers? The role of civil engineering students will of course be very prospective civil engineers needed to provide a brick track to overcome the problems that exist in Indonesia. Every civil engineering really needs to play a role in developing out of the box ideas in achieving the SDGs, especially in the work of construction. In addition, the role of civil engineering students will of course be civil engineer candidates who are urgently needed to provide brick track of overcome this problem. Of course, every civil engineer really needs to play a role in developing out of the box ideas in achieving the SDGs, especially in the world of construction. However, there is one role that is no less important in achieving these goals. This role is held by institutions that provide teaching related to civil engineering education. The institution that house the civil engineering department must provide education to students regarding SDGs in the world of civil engineering. The role is very important because it is through them that they can produce the seeds of civil engineers who are in line with the challenges of today. This can be achieved with the capability of qualified teachers. So, in addition to teaching students, it is also necessary to teach teaching staff an understanding of the SDGs. It is hoped that in the future, with the capacity of quality teaching staff, they will be able to instill a fundamental understanding of their student in accordance with civil engineering in collaboration with SDGs knowledge. Thus, civil engineers are expected to be able to understand and think critically to assist the world community in achieving the 13 SDGs goal of climate action. Thank you. I am grateful for everyone here to listen to my project. I hope that you can find something useful from my presentation. And thank you very much for your attention, and I highly appreciate any feedback or criticism you have given to me today. And I end this presentation with Parama Santi. Om Santi 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 Om.